Hey everybody, this is Sue Craig, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Cleveland, Ohio, and today I have a pinwheel card for you, but it's not your ordinary pinwheel card. The card that we're going to make today was a combination of two different cards. First, I saw this pinwheel again on Create with Nancy, and I've done pinwheels in the past. So this was a good reminder to me of something that I could do with this particular designer paper. And it's also a fun flap card, which is from Connie Stewart. So I combined the two of them. Let me show you what I mean. The paper that we're going to be using today is from the Square Snippets. And it has sheets that have 3-inch squares all the way across. They're different patterns. That's one of the 12 by 12s. Here's another one. And this is a 4-inch. So you can do whatever you want with these. These have been really nice for scrapbooking, but they're also nice for different types of cards. I want to show you the pinwheel card that I did. There's the pinwheel card. Now originally I did the card that Connie did, and it's like this. That's why it's called a flip-flop card or flip-flap card. So what I did was I used that style of card with the pinwheel on the front of it, and it opens with your greeting and something in the middle like that. So we're going to be using the Square Snippets paper, which is in the spring catalog. And I want to show you what I did. I cut them into the 3-inch sizes and the 4-inch sizes for some of the sheets, just so I could get an idea of how I wanted to use them, how they could be used to give my customers different ideas of what to do with square paper. So we're going to be using this. A new embossing folder all in a row that's also in the spring catalog, and you'll see I've used this on this card, and I'll show you a closer view of it. We're going to be using some Resin Dots, and these are 2024 to 2026 in colors. We're also going to use 2 stamp sets that are in, they're going to be leaving soon, they're going to be retiring. Some Beautiful Butterflies is one we're going to use, and Textured Notes. So we'll be using those today. You don't have to worry about writing down any of the measurements because they will be in there. What I wanted to say is that the 2 stamp sets are on the last chance list. So if you want these, check them out. Here's what we're going to need. Let me show you the card again. I used basic beige to show off the pinwheel. I wanted something that was neutral so that whatever colors were used for the pinwheel would really stand out. So I just took the paper that we need. I'm going to tell you what it is that we need. These 2 pieces are 2 5/8 square. And these are the 2 that we're going to put together as our base for our card. Then I picked 2 pieces that were the 3-inch, and we're going to put those on the cutter here because we're going to cut them down. And I have a white piece, and this is going to be for the inside of our card, and that's 3 inches square. This is basic beige. This is going to be for the outside, and it's 3 1/4 inches. For the inside, I have a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4 in white. And then I have a regular card base, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. And I have embossed the front of it with that real pretty embossing folder. Excuse me. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this card base that I have here, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to take the line that is my score line here, and I'm going to put it right at 3 inches on my cutter. Okay? I'm going to make sure the top lines up with that as well. And what I'm going to do now is to close this and cut this off. Okay, that's going to give us the shorter front that we want, and it's also going to give us a strip of paper here that we're going to use as our hinge. And I'm going to put this at 3 1/4 inches, and I'm going to score at 3 1/4 inches. Now I have a piece that I can fold underneath the cardstock, and it'll be my hinge. So my papers are 3 inches square, and what I want to do is I want to cut them down so they are 1 1/4 inches. So I can do it this way, which is sometimes what I like to do. This is 1 inch, and then 1 1/4. I like to do it this way because then I can hold on to this as I cut. We're going to need 4 of these for each color, so we're cutting them together. So 1 1/4. I'll slide this down to 1 1/4. You're going to have a little bit left over. Take this, again 1 1/4. And I push down on this so this does not move. Another way so that it won't move is to go the other direction. So if you go this direction down, it pushes the paper into the end of the cutter, so it should not move. So 1 1/4 one more time. Alright, so we'll get rid of our scraps. Again, if you want to use the scraps on something, go right ahead. Alright, so we're done with our cutter. So I'm going to take all of these pieces, give ourselves some room here. We'll bring in our cards so you can see what we're doing. So we should have 4 of each of these squares. And again, I tried to find squares that would look nice together. Okay. So we're going to start with our white pieces. Excuse me. What I like to do is to line these up, and it probably will be better if we do this. If I line it up, this is what I did before. I take my lines on my grid paper and make sure that the points, there we go. Okay, now that's straight. And I'm going to take this and put it on top. And so what I'm going to do here is just add some adhesive to the back. And I'm going to line this up with, again, the grid paper I'm going to double check that I have it straight. Okay, and you should have what looks like this, kind of like a Star of David. Perfect. It doesn't matter what color you start with. I'm going to just start with the darker one. And only on the first one will you add adhesive just to one of the corners. All right, and you'll see why in a minute. The easiest way to work on this is to put it so that you can put your squares on just like this every single time. So I have the adhesive down here towards the middle, and I'm just going to leave a tiny bit of room and put this down. Okay, I'm going to take another one, put some adhesive on it. So this isn't confusing. What I did next was I turned it again so that it is straight for me, and I can put adhesive on this whole thing now, and I'm going to do that and put this down just a little bit away from the edge. See how it's overlapping? I'm going to go back, turn it again, and I'm going to put adhesive on a dark piece. I'm alternating. Again, I'm going to leave a little border. Turn it. And you can manipulate these squares. I wanted to see the flower now. So I'm putting the flower towards the edge of this. Turn it again. Put adhesive on it. Turn it again. You can see this is an easy card to make. It looks harder than it is. Turn it again. Line it up. All right, now the last one. We are going to add adhesive to this. And remember when we started, we put the adhesive just down here in this corner? And that was because for our last square, we're going to have to fit it in here. So I'm going to, whoa, maybe we'll fit it in here. There we go. So this just has to slide underneath. Hang on. For this one, I'm going to turn it so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. And then this can come down. All right, so now I can put adhesive on the back of this one. And our pinwheel is finished. That was pretty painless, wasn't it? And while I'm thinking of it, we're going to take this piece and we're going to attach this to it now. I can attach it so the white is pointing up, or the peacock color is pointing up. It really doesn't matter. I think I like it that way. So I'm going to put adhesive on the back. You could do it dimensionals if you like. And I'm just going to try to center this. Okay. All right, so we have this flap done. and we want to attach this right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten this. I always like to do things flat so that it's easier to understand how it's going to work. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this, or you can leave it straight, and we're going to line up the fold with the edge of the paper. And you can decide how high or low you want this flap to be. On my card, it's kind of in the middle, so we can do that. We'll just take this and line up our fold line with the edge here and push down. Okay. This is going to go inside like this. We're going to put our sentiment in there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put adhesive on the beige piece so that nothing gets on the inside. And we're going to put this piece on. And it might be easier for you to see how it will line up is if you close it so that it'll be how it's going to be when you put it together here. All right, so that's attached. And on the back, we want to attach this white piece, but we want to do our stamping first. Pardon me. So we're going to take out the 2 pieces of white paper now, and we're going to do our stamping. I know typically we would put our greetings on the front, but our pinwheel is really front and center, and I didn't want to take away from that. So with my Memento ink, I'm going to do my sentiments. And the first one is Happy Birthday. Again, you can put these wherever you want. I just put it down just a little bit. And then on the other one, sometimes for me it's easier just to use the same color of ink and then move that ink pad out of the way. And some people like to just do all of the colors on one area. It doesn't matter, it all gets done. I like to keep my silicone pad here so that I have something underneath when I stamp with the clear stamps, the photopolymer. I'm opening my Crumb Cake, and I'm going to use this basket-like stamp, and I'm going to stamp that under Happy Birthday, just to give it kind of a collage-y look. If you wanted, you could do that on this one. I took my butterfly and used Pretty in Pink with that. For this one, I put the butterfly up here. And for this one, I put it down here. Now we're going to use green. Boy, I have not used garden green in a long time. It was kind of nice to get this color out. It's been re-inked too, so it's going to be very dark compared to how it looked on my sample. Yeah, I like that. Now we'll put it over here. And again, it doesn't matter where you put it. I kind of like that. close that up. Now that we have our stamping done, we can go ahead and add this to our card, and we'll be just about finished. All right, I'm going to add adhesive to the back of this. And center that. And then we'll take this one, same thing. Sometimes I like to do a little line in each corner. If you have a good adhesive, you really don't need a lot. All right, I like to take opposite corners and line it up above where I'm going to put it, and I try to make it as even as possible. We'll close this, close this. It looks a little crooked, doesn't it? Let's see if I can fix that. There we go. All right, now I'm going to take my Resin Dots, and I think I'm going to use pink. So I'll put one here in the middle. And then, like I did on this, I put a smaller one up here, and then another one down here. Now really, if you just do like an odd number, that's most pleasing to the eye, and it draws the eye to your card, the center there. All right, so here's our finished card. And you can see again that the basic beige is really nice. It doesn't overpower your colors here. It allows them to be the star of the card. And you'll open it, have your first greeting, open it again, and have your second greeting. So there you go, not a difficult card at all. I hope you like the card. I hope you give it a try. And thanks for watching.